Hello, my name is Jamila Gordon, and I'm currently a sixth grade ELA and social studies teacher at Universal Vera Charter School, which is in South Philadelphia. I'm submitting my application for the Philly Plus program, and this is my video response for question number 3. A professional challenge that I dealt with that I encountered for years, I would have to say, is time management. I definitely struggled with that in my early teaching career as an elementary school teacher leading self-contained classrooms. I just had a big issue with time management, things like sticking to scheduled timelines and deadlines, not planning. I would plan, jam-packed lessons, but then not being realistic about the time I had to actually do those lessons, and then I found myself running out of time or rushing through certain things so that I can hurry up and get through the lesson, and not sticking to structured routines and just misusing time. Like I would have a structured daily schedule in my class, but a lot of times I didn't stick to it. One of the biggest things that I noticed that I did was cater a lot to students that always needed extra time. So this started to be an issue when it came to classroom management. And I always applauded myself for my classroom management. So when the time management issue started to trickle down and affect classroom management as far as, students finishing, and they started to become disruptive, and meanwhile I'm giving other students more time to get finished, and it just wasn't working out very well. So it was about my third year teaching, and I was no longer an elementary teacher. I was at that time teaching sixth grade ELA, and that's when I started to really realize that I was doing a disservice to my students, and I needed to maximize my teaching time and the students' learning time. So I started to look at the things that I was doing in my classroom that I needed to do better and change as far as time management. I asked my principal to come and observe me and give me tips on how I could maximize my time better. I also had her set up times where I could go and observe senior teachers that she felt had good time management, that could give me advice and give me tips and techniques on things that I could do to better my time management. And some of the things that I learned, well, one thing that I noticed that I did was, let's say I had this one student, Akil, very bright student, but very lazy also. And I would give a do now. That's like, let's say I gave a do now and I gave 6 minutes. Well, Akil would take about 15 minutes and I would let her. So, like, let's say the 6 minutes was up. I would say, who needs more time? Raise your hand if you need more time. A few students, maybe a handful, would raise their hand, and I would hold up the whole class saying, okay, you all have 5 more minutes. And then I started to realize that that wasn't beneficial. I was enabling the lazy students, because it wasn't that they didn't know how to do it or they needed help. They were just being lazy. They wanted to take their time. So I realized that I was enabling them to do that and not pushing them to work to their full potential. So that's one of the things that I knew I had to change. And like I said, I got some senior teachers to come in and to give me tips, and I was able to go and observe their classrooms. So some things started to slowly change. I would be more realistic when I was planning lessons. What can I fit into this 45-minute block or this 90-minute block realistically? What's going to, actually happen in my classroom, factoring in everything. And when I laid out a schedule, I actually stuck to it. I got a timer, which was one of the things that one of the teachers suggested, and I stuck to that timer. So now it was like, if I give you 7 minutes for a do now activity, when that timer goes off and it's 7 minutes, whether you're done or not, I'm moving on, and I had to stick to that. So then that forced my students to conform and know that they had X amount of time to get something done, and I need to get it done because Ms. Gordon is going to move on. So essentially what I learned through that process was, one, it's very good to self-evaluate, to always look at what you're doing to make sure that you're doing the best that you can for your students, and also to be able to take the advice of other teachers, of senior teachers, because again, it was only my third year teacher, and I knew that I needed to be able to do some changes and make some changes in my classroom. So being able to get teachers to come in, or me to observe the teachers and them to offer me suggestions and tips and things like that, I needed that. I needed to be able to take the advice of other teachers and listen and things like that. So not only did I gain the tips that I needed and the techniques that I needed to better structure my class and better maximize my time and you know, be more efficient as a teacher, I also learned that taking the advice of others is a good thing. And also that I need to always self reflect and self evaluate, check myself and see what I need to do and what I need to be doing better.